Good morning and welcome. We are delighted that you have decided to join us today for our Sunday morning celebration service right here at Unity of Citrus County. We invite you to get settled in. Our service is about to begin in just a few moments. It is our sincere prayer that the music, the meditation, and the message will uplift you and inspire you to become the light of the world that you have come here to be. We invite you to come and visit us in person. We would love to meet you. And we invite you to also visit our website at www.unityofcitrus.org. Have a blessed day. do it.
This day is a witness to my sacred purpose, to all that I'm meant to be. This day is a witness to my sacred purpose, to all that I'm meant to be. Letting it in, letting it flow, letting it go where it will go, letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting you know, I'm letting you lead, that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day. This soul is a witness to my holy purpose, to all that I'm born to be. This soul is a witness to my holy purpose, to all that I'm born to be. Letting it in, letting it flow, letting it go where it will go, letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting you know, letting you lead, that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day. This life is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. This life is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. For all my life. La 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 la.
I just love that song. I jam to it when I'm cooking or whatever it is that I'm doing. So we are bearing witness. We are the love that has come here to be. And we bear witness of that love as it flows through us. Love it, love it, love it. Good morning. So this morning someone told me, wow, you're pretty energized. So I'm going to... It's such a joy for me to come on Sunday morning and be with you and see you and connect with you, because I don't get to see you during the week, some of you anyway. And it's always such a joy to welcome people who are visiting for the very first time. So if you're visiting for the first time, know that you are in a loving, healing, accepting community, that we welcome you, that you bring your beautiful light right here, and that we are excited. So welcome. We have someone right here, a couple in the back. So excited that you join us this morning. Really, really lovely. So I have a lot going on this Sunday, so I'm going to just take us right into prayer. But before we do that, we always have to say a hello to each other. So turn to your neighbor, say hello, good morning, how are you? Yeah, quick check-in. Wave, yay, wave to each other. And then let's turn around and say hello to our YouTube and Facebook family. And good morning. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited because they're part of our membership here. And if you're watching for the very first time and you're interested in knowing more about Unity of Citrus, please call the church office. We will give you that information at the end of the service. We will tell you more. And who knows, you will become one of our virtual members. So looking forward to connecting with those of you that are watching for the first time. So right now, I am asking you to settle in. Let's just settle in. And take a sweet, deep breath. This is such a beautiful day in a beautiful place with beautiful souls of light. We are so grateful for this place, for each other, for the love that flows through us and allows us to be witness of that love out in the world. And so this morning we allow ourselves to leave behind everything that happened this morning or anything that we think we need to do in the afternoon, and open ourselves to Spirit totally, completely, opening our hearts and opening our minds and allowing us to be centered right here in this present moment, this beautiful, precious moment, full of so much potential. We allow that. And we recognize that we have come together this day with a divine appointment. We just kept that appointment. Something in us told us to be here. Whether we're watching over virtual means or in person, we are together in a state of oneness, receptive and willing to hear. It is ours to hear and to receive, to feel. Because that presence is experiential. You could feel it, you could know it. It vibrates through every cell of your body. And for that, we are just overjoyed. Thank you, God, for everything. And as we enter these moments, we remain in this state of attitude of oneness, of presence, of being in the now. And then we just wait and allow. And so it is. Thank you, God. Would you say the affirmation of oneness with me? There is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God the good, all-powerful, all-knowing, everywhere present, right here, right now, God. And so we're going to just begin to, we go deeper and deeper into the service. We begin in the beginning by setting the intention, and then we go deeper. And we're going to prepare ourselves to go into a meditation. We're going to begin with the daily word and then with a song. So let's begin with today's daily word. The word for today is, I'm in the wrong page. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom is the word for today. And the affirmation is, taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Each life has its share of up and downs. Like most people, I have felt blessed by my happy experiences and laid low by my more difficult ones. I have used the spiritual tools of forgiveness and gratitude to learn from and move beyond my more painful experiences. This kind of spiritual housekeeping is my key to lasting freedom. By releasing blame and regret over and over again if necessary, I am ensuring that I am not bound by the past and limited by an outgrown image of myself. Life is dynamic, and so am I. My growth is dependent upon my forward movement, and I commit to embracing the freedom that comes from leaving the past behind. With gratitude, I bless the person I was. With faith, I reach unencumbered for the person I am becoming. And from Galatians chapter 5, verse 13, for you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters. You were called to freedom. The affirmation, I'll say it and then I'd like you to repeat it with me. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. Taking responsibility for my life leads me to freedom. And so now I ask you to relax, get comfortable, listen to the music as you prepare your heart for the meditation.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Do you remember? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Do you remember? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To
No dancing. Good morning. It's so wonderful to see everybody here. Such a beautiful day. So this is a special time. This is the time of meditation. So it's an invitation to get extremely comfortable. And a reminder, the month of May is the power of power, the color of purple, the disciple Philip. And it's located right in our throat, and it has to do with the vibrations that we send out with our words and in our body. So this is an invitation to travel to that inner realm of knowing, to love, serve, and remember. So I invite you to open your heart, become comfortable with your body. And if there's any place in your body that needs a little extra tenderness and care, send energy to that area. Give gratitude to your wonderful body temple that houses our beautiful spirit. Place both feet flat on the floor, allowing us to experience that oneness, that deep inner connection of knowing. This month is the power of power, located in our throat. Power can be referred as mastery, dominion over our words, our choices, our actions. It is an inner consciousness. It is acknowledging that we are right here, right now, unlimited. We are enough. Power is the color of purple. Allow this beautiful color of purple to infuse every cell in your body. Allow that color of purple to infuse every thought, every choice, and in all your actions. Begin to visualize your life as you want it. Is there anything that needs to be released? Our choices create our life. So I invite you in the silence to listen to what might be revealed to you around the power of power, mastery, our dominion. Is there any place in your life that needs this power? Any area that might be stuck? Are there any choices or thoughts that you need just to release? When we release anything that no longer serves us, we experience this inner freedom, this inner freedom of letting go. So in the silence, listen to that special message that Spirit needs to send you right here, and right now. So in the silence, listen. Remember that when we are in the silence, we disconnect and connect with that spirit, that power that is always there, always available. So gradually return to this sacred sanctuary. When we question our thoughts, belief systems, and choices, and all our actions, we can practice our principles of oneness, of the power of our thoughts, prayer and meditation, and that we are all divine. And practice, renew, and practice, and renew. So we affirm we are the power of God in action. I resolve any differences and bring reconciliation with my words, my thoughts, my choices, and my actions. Power allows us to walk hand in hand with Spirit. And so it is. Namaste.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you. Good reminder. So, living in sacred service. There was a little boy that came to church and he was looking at a plaque on the wall and kind of examining it, kind of curious, what is that? And the minister saw him doing that, so he walked over to him and he said, "Do you know what this is?" He says, "No." He says, "These are the men that served and they died in service." And the little boy said, "Was it the 9 o'clock or the 11 o'clock service?" I just had to start with that. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what that means, living in sacred service. There's a story that's been told about Mahatma Gandhi that once he settled in a village, he at once began to meet the needs of the village people who lived there, tend to them, care for them. And a friend asked Gandhi, what are your objectives? Are your objectives is to serve the poor purely a humanitarian effort? And Gandhi replied, "No, not at all. I am here to serve no one else but myself, to find my own self-realization through service that I give to these folks here." See, Gandhi recognized something so very powerful. He said that the best way to find yourself, that innate true nature that you are, is to lose yourself in service to others. I want to unpack that a little bit today. What does that really mean, to lose yourself in service? And then be able in that process to find yourself, your true self. Gandhi, we all know, lived a life. He was living in sacred service. And we use that term a lot, especially in unity circles. We say, well, you want to engage in sacred service, but we don't really always understand what that means. What does it mean to live in sacred service? So the best thing that I can say is that it's different from volunteering, totally. It is deeply a calling that you feel in your heart compelled to answer. And it's a response to the desire that we feel so very deeply inside to lose ourselves in divine love, to lose ourselves in that, to be one with that. It is the path to finding, they say it is one of the most clear paths to finding your true self and what we have come here to be, to love, to serve, and to remember. It is a practice of emptying oneself of that ego. Because you're no longer doing it for self-gratification. You're no longer doing it to accommodate your schedule. You're no longer doing it and then feeling like, well, if somebody wrongs me, I'm out of here. They need me more than I need them. That's all ego. When in sacred service, you're emptying yourself of all that self-centeredness. And you're stepping into the realm of oneness, the understanding of oneness, so that we can shower the earth and all of its inhabitants with the divine love that will flow through our hands, through our eyes, through our ears, through our words, through our whole self, the giving of our whole self to love. It's really what love in action is really about. Being that very face of God. We sing it all the time, remember? You are the face of God. You are the face of God. But when you show up and your life becomes an answer to the call of the most sacred way to serve, then everything that you do, whether you're washing dishes or sweeping the floor or whatever you're doing, becomes a sacred practice. When you engage in this practice of sacred service, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be transformed. Expect it. You will no longer be whom you have come before. Suddenly you find yourself rearranging your priorities so that to act on instinct of generosity, an instinct of giving, rather than an instinct of, it's all about me. Look at me, I got skills. You know, it's not about that. And in time you will realize that in helping others, in helping a cause, in helping for the good of humanity, that you are in reality helping yourself. Because there's only oneness. And little by little you become more attentive. It seems like you become more aware. You kind of know, I'm being led to do this. I'm being led to go in this direction. And you're more attentive to the interconnectedness and interdependency of our world, where we need each other. And you act with greater mindfulness and greater compassion. It is no longer your little ego driving everything that does not, that self that does not work. It's no longer that you, but a realization that it is the Christ presence that you are in you, compelling you to move forward. It desires to express greater in you. So instead of moving through life, kind of indifferent to your surroundings, to what is happening around you, in your family, in your community, in your church, you're becoming more attuned to the magic and the beauty that everything is sacred. And your service becomes like a devotion, like a prayer in action. I love Thurgood's song. He says that my life is a prayer. My life is a prayer. That God is praying. Because there's a joy in what I do and what I give. In New Thought and in ancient wisdom traditions, all of creation is known to be an expression of divine life. Everything. For God is everywhere presence. It is the essence of everything that is, the life moving through everything. And so when we're serving one another, serving our community, serving our church, serving our families, serving wherever we serve in this world, we are serving the divine. It's a devotion. You do it, your heart just opens up. Emily Cady in Lessons of Truth says that stagnation is death. A pool cannot be kept clean and sweet and renewed unless there is an outlet as well as an inlet. It is our business to keep the outlet open, and God's business to keep the stream flowing in through us. And unless you use that for the service of others, what God has already given you, you will find a long, weary road to spiritual understanding. So we have come here to love, to serve, and to remember. There's no word in the scriptures that I could find or some of the other sacred texts that talks about volunteering. It's all about sacred service, a devotion, a giving, an attitude of mind that sees the sacred and the oneness in everything. Many times we don't serve, we say, well, there is a need, but I'm not going there because we see it as a burden. One more thing I'm going to add to my plate. No, I'm not doing it. But sacred service, the act of treating everything that you see as sacred, is not heavy. When you're serving with that attitude, that this is a devotion, this is a sacred service. I'm not volunteering. I am being the expression of God in this particular thing that I am doing. It is incredibly light, and it is full of joy. The outer appearance of helping pales into insignificance when the merit of the sacredness dances its way into our heart, and we find our true self. How many know that? How many can feel that? You don't have to raise your hand, just in your own heart. When you have done something, not as a chore, not as a burden, not as because you're a volunteer, but because it is a devotion. There's a big difference, a huge difference. So how do you know? How do you know that you're in that attitude of living a life of sacred service? How do you know that? Well, for one thing, when your heart is filled with love for wherever it is, your family, your church, your community, or wherever, you have so much love for that community, that thing that you're wanting to serve in, and from that love you choose to serve. From that love, then you are living in sacred service. Or when your heart is so full of gratitude, oh my goodness, it's for the blessings in your life, for this place that we congregate in, for the home that we have, the community that we live in. When our heart is so full of that gratitude, and from that place of gratitude we choose to serve, then we're living a life of sacred service. When the act of service is difficult, and sometimes it could be, it's difficult. Maybe not what you would normally choose to do. I don't know. But for some reason, it's the right thing to do. It's in your heart, it's calling you. And you approach it from a place of surrender. Then you're living in sacred service. You're surrendering to the call. You're surrendering to that as moving in your heart. It's telling you this is where you need to serve. And when you dedicate your service to the ultimate source of all good, when your service becomes that prayer in action, that definitely is living in sacred service. Just beautiful. And then what happens is that when you're living like that, when you're serving like that, then the sacred service opens you up to the flow of infinite peace and joy that we are all searching for. This is the blessing of doing what you do as a sacred service, as a devotion. You will know that God is your source. When you are serving in that manner, you know God is your source, that you will never lack. You will have everything that you need to fulfill that which your soul is calling you to do. You just got to trust that. And you will have peace and joy. Everything will be available to you to live that prayer of love in action through your sacred service. You know, when I was raising my children, that was truly a sacred service. It was an act of love, selfless. They mattered more to me than myself sometimes. Well, most of the time. Sometimes they would misbehave and I had to kind of pop out, you know. But they were my heart and still are. They still are my heart. I'm so grateful for them. I was so grateful for them when we were raising them. I expected nothing in return. I took care of them. I served in sacred service, but not even realizing that I was doing that, without wanting anything in return other than for them to be safe, to be well cared for, to grow up to be amazing women that they are now. And at the time, I was working and studying at the same time, but making myself available to my family was my priority. That was my priority. And I went and rearranged my life. I went to Joe and I said, Joe, I want to spend more time with the kids. I want to take a profession that doesn't take me away from them. I'll go to school. I'll study to be a teacher. That will help me to be more with them. And so I rearranged my life. I left a really good paying job, okay? I was working with Bank of America at that time, but it was consuming my time. I was coming home late and tired. And Joe supported my choice. You know, I love my honey because of that. He always supports all of my craziness, really. But he did. He said, well, honey, that's what you want to do, then we'll get it done. And so I began to feel so great because I was able to have the energy and the time to love on them and care for them and play with them and listen to them, anticipate their needs, do everything to keep them safe. And sometimes, believe it or not, it was not perfect. And many, many times it was messy and hard. But I would get up the next day and I would do it again with great love, with great gratitude in my heart. So many times when I would go to bed, I would wonder, oh my goodness, I'm exhausted. I was literally drained of all my energy, and I wonder, how am I ever going to keep up the next day? How am I going to work and study and take care of my family? But the next day would come, and I was fresh and new all over again. And I would be able to do it all over again because God was my source without even knowing. I was being provided my strength, my wisdom, my power. I was everything that I needed so that I can serve selflessly in sacred service. That is sacred service in a nutshell. When you do what you do as an act of devotion, because of the love that pours from your heart, the gratitude that is in your heart, the knowing that God is your source, it helps us to, I love it because it connects us to all our principles, really. So when we do this act of sacred service, it helps us to see the worthiness of each other. It does. I saw worthiness in my children. I see worthiness in all of you. I see worthiness in my family and my friends. And each of us has that spark of the divine. We are divine in nature. That we must never forget that. And so when we're serving alongside of someone else, know that. That is a divine being having a human experience. And we are endowed, because of that, because we're spiritual beings, we're endowed with infinite potential. And sometimes it gets squashed because what we're needing in our lives to help us to do that which we're being called to do doesn't show up. because we see it as not a sacred service. So being in someone, serving with someone or for someone is a very sacred act. With a mindfulness that this person is divine. This person has a beautiful light. This person is worthy. When we see the sacred in everything that we do, when we see it in everything, our thoughts and our words and our actions change. They can't help it, but they change. And we begin to create what nurtures the highest good. Sacred service, a giving as an act of devotion, a prayer, a life that is living as a prayer. If you know how sacred service is soaring, it's just a soaring royal entry into a well-lived life, a joy-filled life, a peaceful life. You would not resist serving. You would not walk by blindly and see a need and not serve. That is the key. There's such a blessing when you fill in a need, when you support someone or something from that place of knowing that what you're doing is sacred. You know, when I am my best, when you are your best, the best that you can be, then you will do what your heart tells you is best for you to do. You will do it. And when you do it, you will do it with an understanding that it is not you, your little ego, small self that's needed, but the Christ in you to show up brightly, powerfully, with everything that you will need to do that. And when I'm in that place, when I realize that what I am doing is sacred work. When I am just having a conversation with someone or doing house chores or whatever it is that I'm doing, I do it with that attitude that everything in my life is a blessing. Thank you, God. Then I will not lack in anything. You cannot lack because you're walking in the fullness of knowing that God is source and you, a source moving through you. And I'll know that I'm not lacking. You know why? Because as I give, what happens? You receive. As you give, you receive. It's a spiritual law. You can't change that. You don't believe me? Try it. So in this community, I have had the privilege to walk alongside so many of you that do serve and take your serving as a sacredness. You see the sacredness in it. And so I can't tell you, I'm so incredibly grateful for you. So incredibly grateful for you. And the many ways that you show up here as the face of God. And so I took the liberty today to honor someone in our community that is an example of living in sacred service. He truly loves this community. He has shown it over and over and over again. He gives selflessly to help fulfill the mission that we have here. We cannot do it without your support, without you engaging in sacred service. This person does it, and does it with a joyful heart. And his name is Michael Wilmhurst. You know, recently I asked him, when did he come to Unity of Citrus and in what areas had he served? And he told me that his first service was in December of 2015. And that since then, he has engaged in sacred service in this community. He joined the audiovisual team in 2006 and is still there. He's still there serving. He started out it was called the Weekly Intention, which is now the weekly wake-up newsletter that you get every week. That was Michael in 2011. He initiated the mystery dinner theaters. Remember those? That was Michael. He was the brainstorm behind that and gave tirelessly of his time and energy and everything to make it happen. He served on the board. He served as a prayer chaplain. He served as a webmaster, helping put the website together. He served on the building and grounds team. He serves and he serves on the finance team. He serves with the IT team, bringing modern business solutions to us in Unity of Citrus. Woohoo! I like that. He's working with the finance team to bring ongoing giving to our smart devices so that we can do pay the bills and do the work that we need to do around here. And guess he was the first one that came up with the idea to roast a pig. That's Michael. Michael is showing up as the Christ here in this community. Michael, can you stand and wave? Some people may not know. He's in the back of the room, so you can see who he is. So from all of us, oh, I did something wrong. Okay. From all of us, Michael, thank you for all that you've done and what you still continue to do. He's not ready to retire because we could serve even if we move around, there's a place for us to serve. Kahlil Gibran says that when you are about your purpose, your sacred service, you are like a flute through whose heart the whispering of the hours turn to music. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. All of a sudden, it's not a chore. You're doing it. It's a sacred commitment. And the one thing that I know that right now, after the pandemic, we're trying to come back. We're trying to, we return to the times when we were active. All our teams were active. And right now, we desperately need more Michaels in here. People who serve as a living prayer, a love in action. They serve without any need for recognition. Michael did all this stuff, and he never once said, hey, I need to be recognized, I need a plaque, I need a whatever. No, he just did it because he loved this community. And though he richly deserved it, he richly deserves it, he didn't ask for it. He never made any demands. He knows that I am moving things around, and he doesn't make any demands. He doesn't say, this is my ministry, no one's going to take it away, this is mine. No, this willingness to let go of what no longer is ours to do opens up to the next area of service, the next thing, the exciting, curiosity. What's going to open up for me? What's waiting for me? It's a beautiful witness to witness such selfless love right here and among so many of you. I saw it in Bonnie. Bonnie served as a prayer chaplain for years, stepped in, and God gives tirelessly all the time. But when it was her time to pass the baton to Gary, who is now our prayer chaplain team leader, she did it with love. And she said, I'm here to support you. And she remained on just so that she could be a support. I see it in Lisa Daniels. But when the time came to pass the baton to Arbith, to be the team leader, she did it willingly. She passed it on and made herself realize that it's time for me to let it go. She served with a servant's heart. And there are so many of you. I could go on and on and on. It's these people that live a life of service, sacred service, move through the world with intentionality and with awareness, with compassion, dedicating their acts of service to the source of good, as I said before. That's when we can make a real impact. When we are engaged together in sacred service, we make a real impact. That's what's needed. I keep saying to myself, I've been wondering, why? The church is not, the church doesn't need wealth. God is our source. It will show up. What the church needs is for us to engage in sacred service. Because in that serving, that comes from a place of love and gratitude, a devotion, From there you give. And we prosper. Charles Fillmore says that the value of all service lies in the spirit in which you serve, and not in the importance or magnitude of the service. Even the lowliest task or deed is made holy, joyful, and prosperous when it is filled with love. So, you're going to see me in the next couple of weeks highlighting several teams that are going to need you to step into sacred service, to serve. Those are the opportunities. Listen to your heart. Is it calling you to be there? And step boldly into it, because you will have everything that you need to be in that position, to do it with devotion, not an obligation. No, it's a devotion. And I do this, I'm doing this because there's a deep desire in my heart for you to experience the joy of serving. I want you to feel that just like I feel it. There's a desire in me for you to connect into these small little groups where you will be serving and make meaningful connections. We all need that. We all need to be seen and heard and valued. So when you're serving, you're in this little group that is serving the whole, but they're doing their little part. And you're getting to know them and have those connections with them. But greater than anything else, my desire is for you to prosper, really to prosper, because it is in the giving that you will receive. So this week, I'm going to ask you to reflect on this question. What is mine to do here in my spiritual home? What is mine to do? There are many areas. And if you can't find one or you're not sure what they are, because a lot of times we don't even know who the teams are, I'm going to encourage you to make an appointment with me, and I will help you find your place. See, the church will thrive not because of the wealth that comes in. That's secondary. That will happen. It will thrive when we're all engaged. Amen. That's when it will thrive. So I'm encouraging you to really seek, where is it that I'm supposed to serve here? Because you're not serving me or anything else. You're serving the greater cause that will help you to find your true self and live this life as you were intended to live it. So from this day forward, whatever you do, the minute you leave these doors, let it be done with love. Let it be done as a sacred act. And then watch what will happen in your life. I promise you, it will transform you and will bring you greater joy and greater peace. I love you. I bless you. I hope that you will really, really hear this deep desire of my heart, that you will find peace, that you will find joy, that you will connect, and most of all, that you find your truest self in sacred service. Namaste.
Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God. Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God. Yes, I am here to be the love of God. Yes, I am here to learn. Yes, I am here to live. Yes, I am here to be the love of God, my God. And I know forevermore that I am loved. Yes, I know forevermore that I am. Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God, my God, of God, my God, of God, my God.
Thank you, Luz. So now is the time for our offertory, a time for giving, and as we just know, it's a time to receive as well. So I invite you to take your tithe into your hands, and along with me, say our affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I give and all that I receive. I send forth this gift with my blessings and my love. And now we just know the abundance and the prosperity is right here, right now. And we know all the gifts that are being provided by this abundance. So we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. So thank you, everyone, for being here with us this morning. I hope that this has been energizing to everyone and that you'll listen to what is alive in you. And another wonderful way to see about the teams is the wonderful engagement form. If you don't know all the little invisible teams that are behind the scenes, they're all listed there. So now, if you would please say with me the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. We are, God is, I am divine. And I believe that Reverend Luz has a couple of announcements.
I am back. I won't keep you long. I do have a couple of announcements. You know, I just spoke to you about sacred service and about how Michael has served this community. You know, one of the things that I'm doing as we come back from the pandemic is asking people, I'm kind of like a chess player lately. I'm moving the pieces around, you know? And right now, Michael is going to pass the baton of being the team leader for the AV team to Sharon Slaughter. Sharon, can you stand? And he is like I said before, there to support her. He will remain as a support to her in any way that she wants. What a beautiful thing to do that. So Sharon has a little slide for you that she wants you to see right now. I'm going to step out of the way because it's a very important slide. Do you have it, Sharon? Oh, it's coming. Ah, we want you. Join our team. So she will be in the lobby and she will answer questions, and she has brochures for you to read through and see if this is the calling of your heart. The AV team, without it, boy, I don't know where we would be, because they are helping us to do outreach, not only here giving you a wonderful service, but also out there in the community. And if you're watching online and you want to be part of the AV team when you come back, please call the church office and let us know so that Sharon can contact you. I also want to share with you that every third week of the month, we have a board member that stands outside with me. And this month, Darlene will stand with me outside. So if you have any questions for the board, if you have any comments, or just want to say hello and thank you, Darlene will be in the lobby with me. The lobby is going to be very, very busy this morning. And then there's one other thing I wanted to say, two other things, that we are engaging in beautifying a section of our property. It's the meditation trail. And if you, I know Arbith mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but the benches that we have right now are starting to show wear and tear and kind of deteriorating. Some of them are in pretty bad shape. And so we're wanting to kind of get these granite, beautiful benches that will last a lifetime. And you can purchase a bench and dedicate it to someone. Like I know Z and I are going to purchase a bench and dedicate it to Mom and to my son. And so if you want to purchase a bench, go see Arbith, and you can dedicate it to someone in your life. If you're not really looking to purchase a bench, you said, but I really would love to see this meditation trail beautiful. I want to see those benches in every little station. And you just want to give a love offering to make that happen. Because unless we can get 12 of them, we can't do it. So, find out if that's something you want to contribute to. I'm speaking also to the people in the virtual membership. If this is something you want to do, Arbith is going to be in the lobby today. He'll answer your questions. He has posters. Arbith is very creative. So thank you, Arbith, for doing that. Thank you. And then the last thing I want to do before I announce the prayer chaplains is that most of you know that there was quite a tragedy this past weekend. 10 people were shot in a supermarket. Died. 10 of them died, right? Is that correct? And I can just imagine the grieving families right now. It was very, very sad to hear that. So can we just take a moment before we acknowledge the prayer chaplains and sing the peace song? We need more peace in this world. We need more people engaged in sacred service that are pouring that love out. We just need that. And I know it's coming because it just has to. The world can't continue the way that it is. So can you take a moment and if you can, close your eyes and please send love to these families that have lost loved ones. May the love we send, the love that is deep in our heart, bring them comfort. When we begin to realize the worthiness of each soul that has come here, let there be peace. Thank you, God. We have prayer chaplains here that are willing to pray for you, maybe with you about what just happened, anything that you have in your heart that you need to share. The prayer chaplains are in purple, and you see, oh, the slide's gone, but you'll see them, they have the stall to
Deeper connections?
Yes. And thank you, Annie, for reminding me. Yes. And then, and the other thing is that I will come back here after I greet you in the lobby. I'll wait here for a few minutes so that we can have a deeper connection about what we just talked about. what the message was all about. I'll be here, be brief. Sometimes you have questions, sometimes you just want to connect. Just say hi. I'll be here, and we'll stay together for a few minutes doing that. So I'm inviting you now to stand, and let's sing the peace song together.
Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God. Yes, I am here to love. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be the love of God, my God. And I know forevermore that I am loved. Yes, I know forevermore that I am loved. Yes, I am here to learn. Yes, I am here to live. Yes, I